Magandang araw mga kaibigan. Bigyan natin ng reaksyon ang interview ng isang foreign geopolitical analyst, David, nakalimutan ko apelyido. I believe isang retired US military officer ito. Napakagaling na geopolitical analyst. Nakikita niya baka magkaroon ng civil war sa Pilipinas. Baka, sabi niya. So, in-interview niya si Professor Ana Malindog Uy. So, pakinggan natin, napakagandang paliwanag ni Professor Malindog Uy itong nangyayari sa Pilipinas ngayon. Bigyan natin ng reaksyon.
There is this political tension that is now creating some kind of commotion in the Philippines because the supporters, of course, and also the supporters of Sara Duterte is trying to protect her and also to clamor that all of these political harassments being thrown at her should stop. And there are a lot of political harassment being thrown at the current of the vice president. One of that would be inquiry, the congressional inquiry as to how she used the confidential fund that was given to her actually by the office of the president. And now there's a lot of accusations that, there's such a thing as corruption or to a certain extent to that effect is being thrown at the vice president. And so now there's tension because before Sara was the vice president was very quiet. But now the vice president becomes vocal. And
Yan, there is tension. Dati, tahimik lang si VP Sara. Nung hindi pa nila, kahit nung sinimulan na nila ang panggigipit sa kanya, sinisira na siya, tahimik lang. Lately lang, nung nagsimula na itong Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability na iniimbestiga ng kanyang confidential funds, nung ginipit ang budget ng OBP, inislas ng ilang billion, yun na, nagsimula ng palaban si VP Sara. So, nagkakaroon ng tension. Yan ang pinag-usapan dito ngayon.
I think she's in a fighting mode.
Fighting
and of course,
mode.
the current administration as well will be, and the BBM side will fight it off with her. So that tension is very much felt at the moment, not only in terms of exchange of words, but even in terms of action. Because as you can see, there's already an impeachment case being filed against the president, against the vice president. There are 2 impeachment cases being filed against her in Congress. And as I can see, they control the Congress. The current BBM and his cousin controls the Congress. Almost all of the congressmen, they have it on their side. That impeachment, I think, if you talk about numbers, will pass. However, majority of the Filipino people don't want that. And
Yeah.
they don't want the vice president to be impeached. So
Majority of the Filipino people. Agree ba kayo na ang nakakaraming Pilipino ayaw sa impeachment? Comment nyo ko, no? So, kung ituloy nilang impeachment, ayan na, magkakaroon na ng mga rallies. Sinimulan na nga sa EDSA. Yan, sa Cagayan de Oro, kahapon, nagsimula na mga evangelicals and Catholics, nagsama na. Today, sa Davao, later on, sa Cebu. Today, mamay nga po, sa Valencia, Bukidnon, meron din. Yan na po, nagsisimula na ang tensyon. Yung Iglesia ni Cristo, yan ang aabangan natin dahil malaking rally itong Iglesia ni Cristo.
you're gonna manifest that. It's being manifested by going to the streets and having protest rally. So it's not anymore just the supporters of the VP that is doing the protest rally. As I have known this morning that the biggest religious group in my country, they call themselves Iglesia ni Cristo, would also be holding the huge protest rally in Manila against the impeachment. So you can see this kind of, political turmoil going on in the country. But the question really, David, is why is it that the vice president is being ostracized, politically speaking, in many ways by the current administration? I mean, the whole administration is something that the whole force of the current administration is against her. pushing her to the wall. There's only one thing that I can see. They want to eliminate the Vice President Sara Duterte in the political landscape of the Philippines, especially in preparation to the 28th election, national election, because they know that if she runs for the presidency, she will win.
She will win. Wow.
She will win. That's really the case.
Agree ba kayo na 2028 mananalo si VP Sara as president? Yan ang prediction ng Professor Anam Malindog. Uy, galing. Kaya gusto nilang eliminate, tanggalan na siraan na nila si VP Sara as early as now. Kagaya ng ginawa nila noon kay Vice President Jejomar Binay. So, kaya ba nilang i-duplicate yung Binay model nila? Mag-succeed kaya sila itong Sara Duterte model? Para yung nag-aambisyon na magpresidente siya ang mananalo sa 2028 pag ma-eliminate nila si VP Sara?
So for her not to be able to run, and at the same time for her not to win, they have to destroy her, politically speaking, and of course taint her image as a person and as a politician. So that's going on. On the other hand, it has also something to do with, I think it's also some kind of an attack. The political tension in the Philippines is not just about Sara Duterte as against to Marcos Jr. or the faction of Marcos Jr. and faction of Sara. It has also something to do with the current situation of the country. Really, there are also Filipino like myself who are not anymore happy of what's going on in the country. There is mass corruption going on. It's really obvious. And the other one, I think,
Massive corruption, very obvious, sabi ni Professor Oy. Agree ba kayo? Klarong-klaro na ang korupsyon. Pati nga si Katunying na non-Marcos supporter, sabi niya, talamak, garapalan na ang korupsyon sa bansa. Na dapat magsalita ng Pangulong Marcos tungkol nito. Kaya kung tatahimik lang siya, ibig sabihin, kinukonsinti niya ang korupsyon. Yan po, marami ng agree ako dito kay Professor Roy. It's not only about VP Sara, itong mga rally ngayon. Dissatisfied na ang maraming Pilipino sa pagpapatakbo sa bansa. Dahil massive ang korupsyon, tumataas ang presyo, kaliwat kanan ang smuggling, hoarding. Wala na. We are going bayan, babaon muli.
is there is the peace and order is not as good. There's a rising crime in the country. Even drug problem is also rising. And also the economy is not good as well. And also the foreign policy, if you really look at it, the foreign policy of my country is not independent and heavily influenced by the United States. That's why you have an issue in the South China Sea at the moment, because the approach in the South China Sea is more the strategy of the United States rather than Filipinos, the way we deal with conflict. So if you put all of this together, and including the political rivalry and tension between the Dutertes and the Marcoses / Romualdez, put them together, the country really is like a hot potato. Or it's like a ticking bomb. Anytime it explodes, So that is really the situation of the country right now. If you ask me, how would I assess my country? To be very frank with you, I see my country as a bleeding country. It bleeds because of so many domestic problems. The prices of rice is too high, prices of oil, electricity, transportation is really too high that ordinary Filipinos cannot afford it anymore. Even middle class is having this difficulty. There's a massive corruption, as I have said earlier. And on the other hand, we have a very problematic foreign policy that put us in a very compromising situation vis-a-vis China, and now Russia is reacting precisely because of the Typhoon missile system deployed in the northern part of the Philippines, which makes Russia and China very uncomfortable. The ASEAN countries are very uncomfortable about this, and it adds to the kind of bleak situation that we have in the Philippines. So putting them actually the approach to the South Chinese dispute as against to China is the country really is not in a good position. And the country really, in terms of projection, in terms of how you view it, it's not really in a good position, very bleak, if you will ask me. So that's why there are a lot of Filipinos really who are getting tired of this. They want a change, really for good, and also they want, many of them, or some of them, would I say, or many Filipinos, I would say that they're calling for the current president to resign. But of course, the president will not resign, of course. There were protest rally, and you can hear them shouting that they're shouting Duterte, Duterte, but on the other hand, they're also shouting BBM resign. So this is really the situation in Philippines at the moment. So not so happy, not so bright, but as a person, I don't see that it's hopeless though.
Very interesting. We're gonna get back to the South China Sea because there is something that I need to address, not address rather, but just share with the community and of course get your perspective onto this. Now, if we are to go back to this notion, what you mentioned about the Filipino people, sort of, not the Filipino people, rather the current government. When I say current government, I'm referring to the Marcos camp. So the fear, if I am to read this correctly, based on what you stated, is that they are so concerned about the possibility of her winning the election, the upcoming elections. Now, could it be, and this is a question for you, Anna, could it be that there are some foreign elements pushing for this domestic chaos inside Philippines?
I would agree. I would presume, yes, there's like some kind of foreign influence, or I would not say direct intervention, but foreign influence.
Yan, ang tanong. Meron bang foreign powers na nakikialam sa ating bansa? Sabi ng professor, yes, in some degree, indirectly, meron. And I believe it's so. Kasi yung labanan ng mga superpower na dadamay tayo. Okay? So, meron. Kaya delikado ang ating bansa na iipit tayo sa gulo ng mga superpower. At ito, mga kaguluhan ito, may nakikialam.
Pushing for this, some kind of political domestic chaos going on. Precisely because, I'll be very frank and honest, the United States don't want to see another Duterte in power. Why? Because they cannot control the Philippines if a Duterte is in.
Yan, agree ba kayo? US, except kay Donald Trump siguro ito yung Biden administration. Ayaw nila makabalik ang Duterte. But ngayon, nagbago naman ang administration by January, Trump na. Palagay ko, mag-iiba na. Kasi, Trump, bilib na bilib si President Trump kay President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Galit na galit daw si President Trump sa droga. Kaya gusto niya yung pamamalakad ng Duterte. Kaya ngayon na makabalik na si President Trump, magbabago. Ito na, panahon na ng mga Duterte to shine. Ibig sabihin, by 2028, gusto ng Trump. Sa akin lang ito mas pabor sa Trump administration kung Duterte ang magpresidente. Ano sa tingin niyo? Kasi kung nanalo si Harris, ayaw nilang makabalik ang mga Duterte. Anyway, ang kabuuan itong interview nito, sabi ng geopolitical analyst, baka may posibilidad, pag hindi maagapan, baka magka-civil war ang Pilipinas. Ano sa tingin nyo? Payag ba kayong magka-civil war? Huwag naman sana. Nung EDSA Ono, malapit na tayong magka-civil war noon, nung patalsikin nila si Pangulong Marcos Sr. Mabuti na lang, ang Marcos Sr., ito yung greatest legacy ng Marcos Sr. para sa akin, yung voluntary siyang umalis sa Malacanang para hindi magka-civil war. So, sana naman, maiwasan ang civil war sa atin dahil Wag po, napakahirap ang civil war. Yung nangyari sa US, yung civil war nila, yung nangamatay ng mga sundalo, civilian, itotal mo, ang lahat ng world wars na pinagdaanan ng US, mas marami ang namatay sa civil war nila. Sana hindi tayo matulad ng US na nagkaroon ng civil war.